It's now streaming live. Greetings. My name is Brother James Crumbay, and I am your host this evening on the All Seeing Eye Show. And it's just an honor and a privilege to be back once again every 2 weeks to bring you guys unadulterated, proper, and specific information that can definitely aid you in your socioeconomics, in your health, just being informative to allow people to express to the populace at large the things that are directly on their hearts and how we can impact those who are listening. I know last time that we had our show, it was a youth's perspective. And we talked about different articles, different books, and whatnot that we should be reading. And on tonight's panel, we do have in our midst, and I want to acquaint the listening audience, by the way, with our panel. We have in our midst Sister Sharice Brannon, who is the author of All Odds Against Us. And we're going to actually have her talking about that today, as well as we have our strong sister, Elon Shabazz, who is also a community activist, business owner, and developer. She's definitely doing a lot of different things in the community. And we're going to be talking about that as well. And it's just so good to have these two dynamic sisters on this call tonight. And I'm definitely, looking forward to hearing and seeing the impact that they're going to have on our listening audience. And to the audience, we know that we're going to open up the floor momentarily for any questions and or concerns that you may have about any of the dialogue that's coming forward, sharing. And with that, please put in your questions, and we're going to get to those questions as they come about. And also, I wanted to inform our audience this evening that my co-host, Imani Moril, who desperately wanted to be here, and she, underwent a major surgery. So that actually prevents her from being with us this evening. But we want everyone to give a good prayer, a good thought out, to direct some good, uplifting energy that she may, recover most expeditiously from the surgery. And I also have to inform the listening audience as well that the other panelists, the other young lady, Sister Zetha Nelson Ill, during her travels from Atlanta to back to Virginia, she just called to inform us that she was in a pretty bad accident, and she was the passenger, and of course, in the front seat, and so she would be unable to attend this evening's call. So we want everybody who's watching to, put some good thoughts in the universe, that these sisters may be healed, that everything will go well, and that they will be safe. Okay. And we would actually revisit with Zeltha at another time. But getting back to the discussion here at the All CNI, it's just an honor and a privilege to be here with our two sisters to speak about the various different things that are going on in the community. So without further ado, what I would like to do is just to pivot and allow them to introduce themselves, tell you guys a little bit about themselves, and then we're going to jump right into the discussion. And I would like to start with our sister, Sharice Brannon. Could you go ahead and introduce yourself and let everybody know a little bit about you?
Greetings, beloveds. I am a author. I am a reader, an oracle reader. I make jewelry. I'm a chameleon of things, and I'm a I have an entrepreneurial spirit. So it's just not one thing that I do, but my passion is to help the youth as to why I wrote the book, to bring back the passion for reading. And be within the community to be a uplifting, positive energy for our youth, as well as everyone that's within the community that needs some uplifting and some consciousness and positive awareness.
Well, I thank you for that, sister. I thank you so much. And it's definitely an honor again to have you on this panel because, our during our last session, the book that I kind of gave the shout out on for the youth to get, a few of them actually called me and was like, brother, what was the name of that book that you said that we should get to read? And so I let them know, hey, look, it's Against All Odds, and the author is Sharice Brannon. Okay, and the book is very impactful, and I know the sister is going to share a little bit more as we begin to go forward. But it's just an honor just to have her here, right after the show that we done, announcing the book. So that's a good thing. And without further ado, we have Sister Elan Shabazz. And could you just go ahead and tell the brothers and sisters who are watching this, who you a little bit about yourself and what it is that you're currently doing?
Greetings, peace. My name is Elan Shabazz, and I do quite a bit, but I'm gonna make it very, very brief. I am a licensed myomassagist and a degree social worker, but actually a born social worker. And I am a multifaceted business owner. And my gift is pretty much working with my people as a whole for enlightenment, uplifting, and inspiring. So that's the very brief summary of.
Oh yeah, that was a brief one. I mean, that's as brief as you can get because you have a lot of different accolades that go along with you because, I've been running with you, on a couple of different projects, and we're going to kind of reveal a lot of those sources and what it is that we've kind of pinpointed and honed in on and take a definite interest in going forward towards. And we talked about, the topic tonight being women empowerment, because for so long, so many people think that the women are supposed to be underneath, behind, or on the side. But for whatever reason, a lot of people say, well, they don't need to be out front. Well, I beg to differ, because there's only one way for a man to be produced. There are thousands by which he may be destroyed. Everybody on planet Earth has to come through the womb of the woman. I mean, we all have that navel, which lets us know that we were all come through with that umbilical cord. So we, it's only one way we can get to planet Earth. And, the way I look at our women and our Prophet Noble Drew Ali tells us that we need to have a deeper appreciation for womanhood because the woman is the primary teacher of the child. And, things on planet Earth have to come back to the source from which they come. It's so many glass ceilings in terms of business and other type of ventures that our women care to endeavor to promote because you have those who, for whatever reason, want to put you in a class. They want to put you in the box. They want to say, you can't do this and you can't do that. We disagree on this panel this evening, and we're going to share some things that's going to kind of shed a little bit of light about that. I mean, how do you sisters feel about these so-called glass ceilings and these restrictions that try to prevent or to circumvent our sisters from becoming and folding out into their own? I mean, either one of you can jump right in whenever you want.
Sister Elan?
Well, I was going to give the floor to my beautiful sister, Miss Sharice, but so I sort of kind of get in trouble about topics like this quite often, Brother Bay, because I wholeheartedly agree with you. And there is a cliche that I like to hold very near and dear to my heart that goes that when the women get their power back and wake up, then the children and the rest will follow and become enlightened and awakened as well. And with saying that, I'm all, uh, I agree with a lot of those aspects, but at the same time, I'm a firm believer and a strong believer that us women, we have to sort of kind of know that there has to be a balance. And
Absolutely.
I'm always going to hold firm to that our kings are the head. So we have to know that balance because as the extremely, and that's an understatement, independent woman that I am, I there has to be a balance in understanding that uh, the the male is still the head. It's just me being me and giving them all the respect and honor and accolades that they do deserve. Because we as women, we can get extremely overly confident and be so strong that we don't uh, I'm not going to say understand, but respect that we have to know how to allow our men to be the kings that they are. So that's just my statement.
And you said a mouthful, and you said something very key, having that balance, having that balance, because sometimes you run into women who are strong, and sometimes that may intimidate the man in a way and cause him to act out brash or aggressively because of him not being informed of his duty. And so, as the sisters have a role in this world, so do the men. And just like we try to better ourselves as men, the sisters try to better themselves as women. But you often hear, the James Brown song, "This is a man's world," and it wouldn't be nothing without a woman or a girl. Sister Sharice.
I so wholeheartedly agree. And me being a oracle reader and reading different zodiac signs, I'm noticing that the divine feminine and the divine masculine keeps coming up because there is a balance that is off as to why a lot of times people get confused about what their role is or trying to take on a man's role as opposed to knowing when to stay in your feminine. The foundation of a household as well as a relationships really rely on the woman because you are as you stated, you're the first teacher. A house is only in order as strong as the goddess or the queen of the castle is. The goddess or the queen does a majority of the work where the man is the strength and the hunter. So when the hunter comes home, the house and everything should be in order as well as the children.
Mhm.
So they have a very powerful role, but they get a little off track. And I think it might be very partly due to single parent homes that don't have the balance. So the balance goes off. Either it's too much feminine for a male child or it's not enough.
Mhm.
So the balance truly needs to be there. And that's just the pivotal point of the divine masculine coming together to raise a family that is in a balanced mode. So a man knows how to treat a woman knows how she should be treated by what she sees within her mother. And I'm
Mm.
not saying that a female just totally can't raise a male, but to balance, you have to have some serious balance going on to teach him how to be a gentleman, you know, knowing when to stop breastfeeding him, you know, past a certain age. Because you have some teenage guys, teenage boys, or in their 20s, they're still getting breastfed.
Ain't that something?
Excuse my language.
No, I mean, but you know, I mean, you're absolutely correct.
And if I can add,
Yes, please.
To that, Sister Cherise, it's, I'm going to have to say, being 47 years old, I'm 47, and I'm going to have to kind of step those numbers up a little bit. Let's go all the way up to the 50s. I meet males, you know, I just have to pretty much put it in the way it is. There are a lot, and it really bothers my spirit that I see so many of age males that have a lot of childlike and boyish and immature characteristics. And that puts a damper on a lot of the relationships. And now I am that I am the mother who basically stated that my son needed to be with his father when we separated. So I'm not one of those mothers who says, "Oh, that's my child," you know, because I felt that no, I cannot raise a man. I cannot raise my son to be a man. I can raise him to be a good person, but it goes deeper than that. The society that we live in, today's day, it goes much deeper than that. So I think it's very important that the women have to start understanding that. And sister, you know, we've had these conversations over and over. And Brother Bay, just to kind of throw a little piece in there, that is one of the areas that our sister groups talk about. We are really directing a lot of guidance and instruction to these young ladies out here on how to be a goddess, how to act. Not saying we're going to tell you what to do, but you need to see what it looks like in order to replicate it, because you can't, I'm a firm believer that you can't hold people accountable for what they do not know. So I felt that it was my rightful duty to allow my son to be raised by his father. So that's just my take on it. And unfortunately, I've seen so many times that the mothers don't want that to happen for whatever reason. But women are one of the things we're going to be pretty much touching on in our classes. And hopefully the ladies are willing to listen. It is time to listen. That it's okay if that male does not want to be with you. It's okay. That doesn't say anything negative about you. That can be a strong positive piece. But I think it's very detrimental and harmful for the female who, unfortunately, sometimes, I can't say all the time, didn't even have the male role model in her life. So now you want to take that from your child because the relationship diminished, whereas you don't want to let the father raise the son.
Yeah.
And
go ahead.
No, I apologize.
No, I'm gonna let you finish that thought, sister.
So that in turn does a lot to the fathers as well, because one of the things that I'm very dear to is that we have to understand that in a world that our men have always been taught, don't cry. Oh, you know, you're going to be a punk. You shouldn't cry. No, they have feelings too. And when you take their children from them, they hurt deeply.
And I so wanted to
And
say,
those are true words.
truly,
Those are true words. And because when we look at that, when we can understand that better and be able, like you say, to give them something to replicate, not enough of that is being seen. Okay. We have these so-called toxic relationships. I mean, we can have a panel discussion just on that part of it alone, but we're talking about empowering women. And what empowers a woman more than her having her independence, but also having that unit, if that's what she tends to want to be involved with, but also the parenting aspect of it. If her king is there, her husband is there, her mate is there, or whoever she chooses to associate herself with, as long as there's balance, there's no upheaval. Everybody has the role to play. And I think a lot of times we get in each other's lane and try to drive that car. But then a lot of times we have individuals, like was stated, coming up in a single parent household. See, it takes two. And when you come up in a household and you only have either the mother or the father, then there's going to be a little unbalance there. And society, with how the structure is now, it's so many things at our fingertips that are readily available. Society kind of fill in the gaps and kind of raise you up in mind, but it's not proper because it's not coming from your parent, so to speak. It's coming from others who may have had some bad experiences in life. And I think for the most part, oftentimes our youth get a lot of bad information because they don't have enough physical examples that they can associate parenting with. And it's always a blessing if you are able to come up in, a balanced household. But we know that in society, there's a lot of dysfunctionality. Even in balanced households, the dysfunctionality comes from what the social media is infusing, what you're allowing to enter into your circle, the opinions of others, to enter into your circle. And so the woman that has embraced her status as a queen, and she's not going to accept anything less. That's what we want to be able to enhance. We want to be able to showcase those women who are out here on the battlefields, who are going through these embattled legions, who are breaking over the hurdles, breaking over the obstacles, because there was a question sent asking, well, what is a glass ceiling? I mean, Sister Sharice, could you kind of expound on that? What is a glass ceiling?
From my point of view, a glass ceiling is a invisible barrier.
Okay.
Of where you see a certain gender or group of people going, and it seems as though it has you locked down of something that you could just admire and wish for, as opposed to attaining. My book speaks a lot about this particular subject that we're on, because of the different, it's all odds against us comes from inner city children that did not have proper caregivers or nurturers for them to be the great children they could be.
Okay.
And when you don't see the positive aspects in your neighborhood, you don't have good role models within the home, one parent homes, and it's when that is not there, they stagnate them, and that's that glass window. It's like something that I would like to achieve, but I'm just brought up mentally, emotionally, and lack of nurturing for me to break through that glass ceiling. So it's kind of like a barrier that possibly a lot of times builds a lot of frustration of seeing something that you want and not feeling that it's reachable or attainable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sister Shabazz, what would you say about those glass ceilings? How would you define a glass ceiling? I mean, the sister did it so eloquently, but how would you define a glass ceiling?
Well, I'm going to be the little angel's advocate and
There
say,
we go. There we go.
Come on.
I'm going to put the glass ceiling back on the topic of relationships. Well, it's that barrier that the brothers want, but the women are being a little too hardcore to give them the opportunity to reach that positive relationship that the men would like to get to because of the, I would say, the harshness sometimes that are put out there by women. So how can men get over that threshold and get to where they want to be in these relationships? And with being those heads of the households, if they're not
Empowered.
if there's no teamwork,
Right.
if there's no teamwork, is if I get a lot of flack when we have conversations like this because I quite often say, well, who said that a grown man got to be in a house by 2 o'clock? So what if he comes home at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning? Oh, that's disrespectful. I said, to who? And who said it was disrespectful?
The traditions, the traditional ideas of what is correct and what is not proper.
But whose traditions, though?
Exactly.
See, I'm just not in the. And my take was, so the question quite often was posed to me. Oh well, so what you saying? So if your man come in at 3 o'clock in the morning, he been out all night, what you gonna do when he come in? I said, I'm gonna keep sleeping. And if I'm up, my question is gonna be, baby, you hungry? You know. I mean, it's not gonna be any arguing, no drama. We don't do that. It's gonna be peace in the home, because the king gotta come home to a peaceful home if you want him to stay. So it's my take on it.
Well, that's a good take. That's a good
Can I
take, and
say something?
I would imagine
Uh-oh.
we're gonna get 1,000 questions behind that. I mean, you just put an application out, brothers is coming. They like, really? Because
All in the teachings.
so often, people, for whatever reason, in relationships, they tend to try to make others over and conform, control, take possession of. But when you're on a team, you're working together towards something. People have to have their own originality. When you try to be overbearing, because the last thing people need is a jailer. The last thing people need is a probation officer. The last thing a person needs is somebody, be like, look, blowing this tube when you come in the house. Do this when you're coming out. You need to be in here by 9:30 because we in bed and we sleep at 10:30. Now, for whatever reason, in some situations, those type of measurements of control work. In others, they don't. And what happens is there's no happy medium, okay? Because a lot of times people define their relationship based on, like you say, whose standards, who created these standards. You have to find someone who is congruent with you, who think and feel the same way you do. If not, then that's not a happy match. Why just go along to get along? And then 1 minute you're arguing and next minute you're doing this and who wants the confusion? If you want peace, then you got to make for certain that you are aligning yourself with peace. And that's where being straight up front is all about. A lot of times people say the things that they think the woman wants to hear,
or the
or
man.
woman does the thing, yeah, that she thinks the man wants to see get done, you know. So if you are not one who submits, then you need to be upfront with that. But if you're one who can gel and mesh and kind of go along with different things, then people need to be able to be honest up front. And I think they'll be a lot happier afterwards, you know. Now you were going to say something, Sister Sharice, and then we're going to pivot to another point.
Sure. One thing I've found is that when you have that type of disagreement or friction within a relationship,
Absolutely.
most of the time it's insecurity.
Okay.
So along with having that insecurity, you're not sure of yourself. And then also, are you with someone who you're trying to change as opposed to accepting them as to who they are? And either you like them or you don't. Now, just in case there's a few things that might need to be tweaked within a relationship, as you said, we need clarity. We need honesty.
Communication.
So if in fact you feel if you love me, certain things about you, you will automatically change. I don't have to make you change or push you to change, and vice versa with the woman.
Mm-hmm.
If you love this man and you want to show your love, it's just certain things like, I don't know, it could be, I don't like the way in which your dress is a little too short. Okay. So she has that option to say, you know what? Maybe I do need to look at that. If my man is saying my dress is too short, then maybe I do need to do that, as opposed to saying, well, I wear what I want to wear. Okay, well, yeah, you can, but I don't like a queen or a goddess representing me in that way.
Mm-hmm.
So then that's when you just be honest and say, well, that's some things you don't want to change, but I'm getting a lot of friction when we go out. And then it's causing problems with me, because of the way that you're carrying yourself.
Right.
So it's all about not changing who a person is. They need to be who you want to be with and what you like in that person. Things can be tweaked, but if it's too many things, then this person is just not for you. Absolutely. And you have to have some security in knowing that if this person loves me, I don't care if they're out all night, because I'm secure within that.
Exactly. And that's a good thing. And you know what? I know that, I would love to, because that's a segment that we could go into and have a 30-part series when we start talking about the different areas of relationships. And, it's good to have strong sisters who are able to verbalize that and know that they're not selfish, that they've grown enough to be able to allow people their own space to be original, to have a happy union and be able to go along and have some congruency, as opposed to all of the friction and all of the fighting and all of the toxic relationships and that goes along. Because we see it, and we know a lot of people who spend most of their time arguing and fighting because they calling you, asking you, well, you know what, I'm tired of this and I'm tired of that, and whoop, whoop, whoop. And and sometimes you'd be like, Lord, why don't y'all just leave each other? But the thing is, they've been arguing for 30 years.
Right.
Fighting,
they don't know how to talk now.
Yeah, right. They don't know how to talk. All
that is their communication, arguing.
Yeah, right. Arguing. So now what I want to do is, the next 30 minutes or so, I want to, again, open the floor, to our listening audience to ask questions. And what we want to do is we want to highlight some of the different things that you ladies are doing. I know that this Sharice is an author and things of that nature, but I do know that you guys partner with each other on a variety of different projects. And, as it stands right now, Sister Elon Shabazz, I know that you got some different things that you are currently doing in the community with the youth, spearheading, because when I met this sister, she was on the battlefield, soldier out on the forefront, putting in the work, in the community. And I came right in and we started shouldering that load. And, it's so good to see our strong sisters ain't concerned, now, I'm not even going to open that one up. We ain't concerned about certain things. They like, look, this is what we need to be doing. We need to be out here doing more than just feeding people with food. I know that you have a couple of different things that you have going on. You have a big event coming up in Idlewild, Michigan. Could you kind of talk about, the different ramifications of what it is that you're doing?
Well, thank you, Brother Bay. I am a native of Idlewild, Michigan, the Black Eden of Michigan, the very infamous Idlewild, Michigan.
Okay.
And just during the current election, I did run for election in my hometown.
For what? What was you running for?
I was running for the clerk. I was running for the position of the clerk, and I just so happened to have one of my campaign pieces right here.
Okay.
So it didn't matter to me win or lose, because what mattered to me was doing the right thing. And my mom, very well known, I thought she was running. Everybody's like, oh, you her daughter. I'm like, y'all gonna talk about me? Y'all gonna vote for me? Y'all gonna vote for blah. But thanks to her. But she got the call that there were a lot of things going on up there, and it was no question for me. There was no thinking about it. 2 days later, I was there, all 10 toes on the ground to say, what do I need to do? So the only thing for me to do was do my research, get the true facts, and then go down to the courthouse and file saying, okay, well, I'm gonna run. That's just my spirit. And with doing that, came across a lot of the information, because my thing was, well, where are all the youth at? Where are all the young people? And it's very it's not a lot there, and the ones that are there, they get a lot of the wrong messages.
Okay.
And so there's not a lot for them to do, because there's not a lot of resources being provided for our youth. So what's going to be taking place in I think we set the date for February the 13th or the 16th. I apologize, whichever one of those Saturdays is those dates. It's a Saturday. We're going to go there to feed the community. We're doing a big feeding there. We're going to also launch the Idlewild's Black Eden Resource Center. We have partnered with a number of personal affiliates and friends that own businesses that they're going to be reaching out to the youth. And I always have to step back into my spirit, because my passion has always been the youth, because they have to be uplifted. And I look at my son, and he's 19, and I just say, I don't put him on a pedestal, but I do use him. I have to acknowledge my son as the perfect role model as to how I would like to see our youth. He's no better than anybody else, his peers or anything, but he's an example. And so when it goes to what you're saying as far as what we're doing for the youth, Sister Sharice and I, and quite a bit of other individuals, there's too many names for me to say right now, but we've come together, we're putting programs together for youth, but they also have to want it.
Absolutely.
We have job placement, we have training, we have these groups that we're talking about. Sister Sharice and I, we're not just talking on these topics. These are things that we live by. We're going to be talking to these young women how to be a lady. We have a male branch called Best Brothers, where we build, educate, and strengthen our men, where these young men can see how to dress, how to carry yourselves. And so the big feeding is going to be the youth. I'm not about to do all this work out here. They gonna be out there passing these food, passing these food bags out and feeding the community and things of that nature, so that they can see. There's a lot of people out here. Your neighbor may be in this line
Mm-hmm.
to get some food because your neighbor may not have food, which is your friend's parents may not have food in the refrigerator. So you got to get out here and put it in too. And so when the youth see that, hopefully that's going to spark something for them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, besides just, and I commend both of you on your dedication, to do something like that, because that's a monumental task. It's not easy work. It's getting up early and leaving late. It's putting in the hours. It's dealing with a lot of the you know personalities that go along with that. But aside from just, and we're just talking about putting food in a bag and things of that sort. How about the other areas of which a lot of times our community or our youth are starving? I heard you mention about being able to get them skilled, vocational skills and things of that sort. When you look at these different programs that go out to assist the community, what would you guys think is the best way to galvanize and make that a resource and not just give them food? What else could we give them?
Well, that goes into the resource center, Brother Bay, because
Okay.
we've partnered with carpenters, builders. Another sister friend owns the CNA school. We have quite a bit of people that are coming in, and I'm asking every business owner that looks like us, hey, can you partner with us so we can get these youth and skill? Because let's get down to the raw uncutness of the reality here. Why are there so many diminished areas and resources? Because it was done by design.
Absolutely.
When I was coming up, we had home economics, we had workshop in the schools, but these things were taken out of our schools, but the suburban schools still have them. So our young men graduating, they knew they could come out of school, out of the electrical class, or even culinary arts. We had that in high school. They don't even know how to cook now. So it's up to us to step up, because we know how to do these things and conglomerately come together to start to not to just say, okay, well, I own a business. Okay, I'm a plumber. Well, guess what? What about all the youth on your block that don't have any skills? So those are the individuals that we're asking to join with us and just put that helping hand out there, because guess what, Brother Bay and Sister Sharice, y'all know this. Nobody's coming to save our children. Nobody. These other nationalities that's in our community, they not stepping up to say, oh, you coming in here to buy liquor. Oh, no, 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 you can't buy that. They gonna sell them their Lucy on the side. They're gonna do that. But it's up to us to say, no, 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 we're not gonna allow it anymore.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sister Sharice?
There is a question for the sister. For Sister Sharice, a question came in. I just want to interject right fast. And it says, and I notice, kind of would align itself as we go along. But it says, for Sharice, what are some things a sister can do to tap into her inner goddess?
Well, beloved, the first thing is to go within and be honest with yourself about changing the things that are not becoming, are not harmonious. And within that, with the business of our Detroit Oracle Haven, we will have where, I don't know if you know about the chakras, but these are 7 points in the body that when they're out of balance, life will be out of balance in certain areas. So to bring out that goddess within, it's being with like-minded people, changing your environment and who you associate with, as well as tuning in to the inner you and clearing and balancing out your chakras. That's would be one of the steps.
So you got to do some cleaning. You got to do some
Yeah.
purging.
Yes, it's
Sort of.
almost like some dark nights of soul. You gotta let go of the things that
Hold you captive.
created who you are from childhood.
Mm.
You're grown now. You can rewrite your story. We have to, and it's harder the older you get for you to hold on to things that happened in your childhood that were very painful and were not addressed. So it's about addressing things in the past that brought you pain. I am this way because I was raised in an environment that was this way. But is it right for you?
Mm-hmm.
You have to go within and have a meetings with the mind.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I
I
think
hope that
I think
answers your question, beloved.
and I think that a lot of challenges people face, men and women alike, but we're talking about women, with a lot of the things that happen early on that wasn't dealt with, like you say, and it kind of creates a stumbling block for them going forward, and they still find that they're bumping into that ceiling, because they've allowed this pain or this thorn to continue to plague them and haunt them, and it kind of prevents them from developing into that, like you say, that goddess, having that alignment spiritually and things of that nature. So I really appreciate that, sister. I really appreciate that. What would you say, Sister Shabazz, about tapping into your inner goddess? What would you say about that?
Well, I just believe in being a lady at all times.
Being a lady at all times?
Lady at all times.
Okay.
Just be soft. Not soft as far as, oh, I'm so submissive, but just be soft. The language is very important to me. The language that a lady uses, the way she carries herself. I modeled professionally for 10 years and did a lot with that, but I never looked at myself as, oh, I'm this beauty queen. No, I was very humble. So I think that being humble is very, very important because I've seen some of the most gorgeous, I've traveled a lot of places, I've seen some of the most gorgeous women, and I give them their respect, but the attitudes doesn't fit. The interior doesn't fit the exterior. And so you have to be willing to, like Sister Cherie said, look within. But then that kind of takes me to another area, as I always hold to, you can't hold people accountable for what they do not know. And a lot of people can't change a problem if they don't see that the problem exists.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Absolutely.
becomes, and is very detrimental when our women and our young girls, and I'm going to go to the young ladies, when they're watching shows such as Housewives of Atlanta and Keeping Up with the Kardashians and things of that nature. Those shows, they're very detrimental. Those are not goddesses. They can be, but their behaviors and their mannerisms is not. And so we want to be a goddess, but we have all of these bad mannerisms and things that we're seeing from all the wrong sources. So I would say that if you don't have that role model to to really have that conversation with you, because a lot of it's lacking. A lot of our ladies are, unfortunately, they don't have that. So I would even say you can look at other women. I would even just say one that people like are really familiar with is Michelle Obama. Beautiful. Look at the way she carried herself. Look the way she dressed eloquently.
Mm-hmm.
So it can get very deep on that topic, but for
Yeah.
time's sake,
Yeah, I understand. I definitely understand. And you both answered that question very well. There's another question about the interdealings of women with other women. Why is it that women, y'all already ready for this one? Why is it that we find these wedges? I don't deal with women because, and this is a woman saying that. I don't deal with other women because they messy. I don't want to be bothered with other women, or my friends are mostly males because I can't deal with women, and you are a woman. Help me to understand, why is it that women are, seem to be battling each other more than lifting each other up?
I'm gonna make a quick statement that I'm gonna give the floor to Sister Sharice. What I would say is that that's one of our teachings, because we need to. I think it would be very. That question is self-explanatory. Self-explanatory when you familiarize yourself with the Willie Lynch letter,
Mm.
because it it goes to. I ain't gonna go too deep on that one.
All right. Yeah, we ain't got that much time anyway,
I
but
ain't go
go
deep
ahead.
on that one, but it was done by design, and that's really simple. It was done by design. We were to They put us against each other, and that's why I love my sister right here so much, because of how we met, the way we met, and just our dealings with one another. I bow down gracefully to the love that I have for her, because I love being a Virgo Libra. I don't have that spirit. Modeling 10 years, I always gave women the respect that they deserve. So all that jealousy, I have to listen. I have to have my sisters. I need my female friends. I need them. I don't I don't know. I don't want to be with my dude all the time. No, 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 no. I need my sisters, and I need that relationship with my sisters, and I need to always have their energy and their positive feedback.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sister Cherise.
What I've noticed that women feel that they have to be in competition. And as Sister Elon said, you're trying to imitate what is bombarded through videos and reality shows.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're being something or someone else as opposed to the true you. And they let the society and visual things dictate who they should be, how they should dress. So that is the biggest major thing, that it's something about yourself that you don't like. That's what I'm talking about, going into that inner workings,
Mm-hmm.
because you should want to be unique. You should not want to look like everybody else. But the men play a part, because with the videos and the music and what they talk about, everything is sexual now. So I have to always strive for attention through the way that I dress, or how tight my clothes are, or if I look like someone else that's a star on a video, or some singer. And if you're striving to be someone else, you got a whole list of things that you need to go through for you to be your authentic self. Love who you are, just like with the light and dark as we grew up. As she said, it's a Willie Lynch thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the jealousy and the upbringing that we've had and been conditioned, you can see it's detrimental, truly detrimental.
Absolutely.
And just to add a piece to that, Brother
Please do.
Vinay, I'm the founder of an international women's empowerment group called United Sisters International. And with the United Sisters International, there is, I focus on doing indoctrinated exorcisms. And within one of those aspects of an indoctrinated exorcism, I would say within the women, there's a three-headed dragon that we're going to focus on slaying. And that three-headed dragon has three poisonous tongues against our women. And it really falls in line with a lot of, like Sister Cherie said, was the jealousy, the envious, and the insecurities. You got all of this to say about me and to say about your other sister. You don't even know this sister. So you look at me and see something negative to say about me. You don't even know me. I could be the one to save your life. I could be the one to save your child's life. So we as women, one of the things that we are really focusing on, there's another sister that teaches women feminosophy. And we talk about just that. Women, let's come together and simply stop.
Mm-hmm.
Just simple. It's just that simple. Just stop it. Let's stop hating one another. You want to fight me for a man that
I don't want neither one of y'all.
or neither one of us should even want to be with, because he's not even king material. What are we doing? So, I just want to put that out there, that it's going to be a lot more to come about that, but just simple. And one of the things that we teach a lot about is thinking before you speak, learning to hold your tongue. And when you know you're about to say something about a sister because that's who you are, but you're wanting to really be better, then just stop. It's unnecessary drama for no reason. When if we got together, we could build the type of relationships like Sister Sharice and I have, and our other ladies that's with us.
Absolutely. And now that you mentioned that, I mean, because, we're getting almost to close, and we definitely had a lot more road to cover. And that just gives us the opportunity to be able to come back and do it all over again and focus in on those areas. But you spoke about Sisters United as being one of the gambits in which you focus a lot of your attention. And it's a movement, so to speak, for our women to empower them to be able to identify. You spoke about exorcisms, the indoctrination, what we've been indoctrinated with. We need to get that demon up out of you, because a lot of times it's misinformation. So I didn't want the people who were listening to hear exorcism and think we're, doing something else. No, we're talking about, getting the indoctrination of what's been put upon us in terms of how we think, how we look at ourselves, how we value ourselves, how we equate ourselves by imagery, because a lot of times images are placed upon people. I remember on one show, they talked about image, because that self-image also can take away your self-love, because a lot of times we equate how we're supposed to love ourselves by how we look. And if we're judging how we're supposed to be looking by what's on the social media, then a lot of times people hate themselves. Yes. Then they start wanting to kill themselves and things of this sort. But I did want you guys to kind of talk about a couple of the other little business ventures, cap it on off. I know that you guys wanted to definitely showcase a couple of the things that you're doing. Matter of fact, you got on this nice handmade jewelry by, what is it, Tips Handmade Jewelry?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. That's one of the sisters in the Sisters United, you
Yes.
know, and they wanted to give a shout out to that. And well, how could someone actually, if they were interested, where could they go to look at some of that jewelry?
Well, we are, as Sister Cherie stated, we are open in Detroit, Oracle Haven, and uh,
Detroit Oracle Haven.
Detroit's Oracle Haven. Yes, we are
Okay.
going to be featuring Yoni and Lingam Steams. We are going to be featuring massage, oracle readings by the Queen there,
Mm-hmm.
and meditation sessions, chakra guidance, the Aqua Chi foot baths. So we're going to be going into a lot of the healing aspects within cleansing the mind, spirit, body, and soul. And so the young
Don't
lady,
forget life coaching,
life coaching.
Oh,
I
you got life
showing you
coaching
how to
as
be
well.
a goddess.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
And,
absolutely.
and that's gonna be you know, do you have a opening date in mind? I know you got a physical location for that. So do you have an opening date in mind?
Mr. Sharice.
It will be in March,
In March. Okay.
and we'll give some updates about that.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, if somebody wanted to get some of that jewelry before they could come get a spa treatment or the yoni or
It's not going to be a spa treatment. I want to kind of
okay.
make sure you understand because they're everywhere.
Okay. So this is something different.
Oh, very much so. Detroit's
Okay.
Oracle Haven is different. It's very
Detroit
different. But
Oracle Haven. Absolutely.
yeah,
Sound like a place where somebody wants to be because Oracle and Haven is a safe place.
Yeah.
That you could seek refuge from all the calamities out here in the world. It sounds like somewhere where I want to go soon as I get off of this call here. I want to go to a haven,
and
Oracle Haven.
the young lady who makes the jewelry, Tiffany,
Yes.
is my bestest friend in the whole world. We've been
Okay.
friends since ninth grade. Our mothers were best friends, and so she makes all of the
Does she have a
jewelry.
website?
Um, I
On Facebook,
Okay.
Tiptoe Strange Tiptoe
Strange Tiptoe.
strange tips up.
on Facebook.
Strange Tiptoe. Okay. And it's spelled strange, Strange,
And Tip,
tip, Tipp.
Yes, yes. And
Tip. Mhm.
oh yes, 2 P's.
and I apologize for not having that information, but if anyone wanted to get that information, they can text to 21000. Now we focus a lot on Kwanzaa, so I'm just going to simply say, for the sake of making sure that the listening audience can have that information, they can text the word Kwanzaa, KWANZAA, to 21,000, and they can put in their jewelry. So
Okay.
what's going to happen is all of those requests are going to be forwarded, and they'll get the contact information for Tiptoe. And the jewelry that she makes, it is absolutely it's
Well, I saw some when I went on the site. I saw some of it and it looks amazing. It looks like it's high quality, it's
oh my
handmade.
goodness, classy
And
girl, very
yeah,
classy
and,
girl.
and the sister can design it accordingly. Like if you wanted certain gemstones or whatnot, definitely. And I do understand, pardon me.
She has bracelets for people who have passed away. She has a beautiful, unique way of making memorabilia bracelets for people that have passed away.
Okay, fantastic. Now, will this Detroit Oracle Haven is it going to have like a metaphysical kind of aspect to it as well?
Yes, for the question of the caller, we'll have crystals, and we will present the cleansing and the balance that needs to go within the 7 chakras. And it's
Okay,
going to take you to another level,
take it
beloved.
to another level.
Ready? I hope they're ready.
Well, you know what? That's a good thing. And you know what? Whatever the sisters are doing, and I know you got a lot of things going on. We didn't even get to the areas of the business with the real estate. I mean, You know, the sister has a ton of different buildings in the city of Detroit and abroad, and different projects. And I do understand that this new one that's going to definitely be spinning off sometime soon, the Our Youth movement.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Oh,
yeah, that's going
oh
to be very, very powerful. And I
Yeah.
mean, that's going to be just a show by itself, you know, because, you know, the Our Youth movement, you know, because that's what it's all about, you know, and you're going to have them what ages from what to what?
from birth. We need to get
Okay.
our. Let me tell you.
Sister
Let me
said from
tell you.
birth.
We
Okay.
taking our babies back.
There you go.
Okay, we taking our babies back, and they can talk that talk that this is a lost generation. No, these are our warriors. They just have to be disciplined. They have to learn how to love themselves and put themselves first. So that's why our youth movement was developed and created, because we have some brilliant, I'm talking brilliant youth. I'm not okay with them throwing our youth by the wayside. I'm
That's
not okay with that. And I'm the first one that's going to be on the battlefield and show that we have some brilliant, brilliant, strong, powerful youth. We just have to put them up there and get them a little seasoned. That's all, to know how to walk and know how to talk. Okay. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be, this youth movement is going to be worldwide. They're going to be going on tours.
okay.
They're going to be giving seminars. They're going to be giving panels such as this. And we want everyone to get their nieces and nephews and cousins and children. And, you know, I kind of hone in to the parents
Mm-hmm.
and say, it's up to you, because while your child is sitting in your house doing nothing, let us come in and kind of offer them something to be a part of something positive. We're not trying to force anybody to do anything, but we are looking to uplift our youth, because we love our youth. They are our future, and without them, who are we? And then that's a reflection on us. We're their parents, so how can they be so bad if it's not a reflection on us? Because everything starts at home.
Absolutely.
Everything starts at home. So
Absolutely.
yeah, and one last statement I want to say about there, we recently purchased a hotel in Idlewild, Michigan. It's going to be a lot more to come about that.
Okay.
It is going to be huge retreat.
Balancing them relationships is awesome.
Yes, it's going to be. It's a hotel. It's going to be for retreats, for people from all over the world to just come together, who's really ready, and to do a lot of fun things. So it's going to be amazing.
Absolutely. Well, sisters, I mean, it's just been an honor and a privilege. You know, I wish we had more time, but guess what that does? That just gives us the ability to spin off and have you back on All CNI whenever you guys can grace our presence again. So, Sister Sharice, would you have any closing remarks before you depart?
My closing remarks are, and I'm putting it out in the universe, we need some peaceful, we need some positive, harmonious energy going on.
Absolutely.
And we all need to go within and be our authentic selves. You're just beautiful the way you are. Yes, there's some things that we all need to tweak about ourselves, but we need to come to a higher perspective of enlightenment, because going into 2021, there's going to be a lot of changes, and we need to be prepared for it. We need to tap within those chakras to open up this third eye as well as your crown chakra, and tap into your intuition and your gifts, because they are truly going to be beneficial for you. And thank you for listening, all beloveds.
Well, you know what? We thank you so much. I mean, we can feel the spirit emanating from the both of you, lovely sisters, and it's just an honor to be able to grace your presence from time to time. And I look forward to us building and continuing to build on our youth movement, on Detroit Oracle
Haven.
Haven, all the other platforms that are going to be forthcoming. I understand. I mean, because we just had your son not long ago on the show, Christopher, and a couple of your nieces were on the show. So the fruit does not fall that far from the tree. And so we definitely have to take a more aggressive approach to the uplifting the fallen humanity, because uplifting fallen humanity, there are so many areas that we need to focus our attention to, and not no one person has enough skill set by themselves to do it all by themselves. So with that being said, all of us have to come together cohesively, with the same thought in mind. That grand specific purpose is to uplift fallen humanity. It doesn't matter where you're coming from, long as you arrive at where we're at and what it is that we're trying to do. And let's get shoulder to shoulder, foot to foot, and pick this albatross up from off our nation of people, up off of our children, set them free so they can develop themselves freely and lead this nation. Because guess what? In 50 years, where are we going to be when the ball is going to be in their court? But if we don't build the court, if we don't design the ball as well as the game, even though they can play, they can jump, they can run, hey, they can fly. But guess what? They'd be done flew into a wall if we don't tell them, look, watch that wall right there. I see you flying and jumping out the gym. Wait a minute, hold on. You're running too fast. We got to be able to guide and direct them. So I thank you all again for coming on to All CNI. And I thank my listening audience as well for tuning in and being dedicated to tuning in, giving us that patronage that we so desperately need to be a voice in the community and abroad. And with the other shows that's on our panel, we want you guys to tune in to those as well. Under the banner, we will have the Universal Love Show that's going to be taking place on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The topic being bound by cords. Every living thing is bound by cords to every other living thing. No person lives unto themselves. Even though you might think, oh, I got mine, I'm good. Okay. Well, no person lives unto themselves. So we got to start to learn how to be selfless. Okay. And on Thursday, we have Real Talk, Girl Talk, Moorish Talk. And that topic, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the same channel, will be a deeper appreciation for womanhood. And that's kind of like what we're talking about today. But I encourage each and every one of you to tune in. You're definitely going to be in store for something great, something grand that's going to incite some thought to infuse you to dare to do wondrous things. So with that, I'll leave you all as I came, in peace and in love.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you guys for being here. And again, we definitely love having you on the show. So get that jewelry. Okay, get that jewelry. Go to Tip Handmade Jewelry. What is it? Tip Strange? What is it?
Tip Strange or Strange Tip. It's 2 P's in tip.
Okay. Strange Tip. T-I-P-P.
Tiptoe.
All right. Strange Tiptoe. Right there on Facebook. And the sister.
Peace and love, fam.
Huh?
I was saying peace and love, family.
Peace and love. And also don't forget, if you want the other link that the sister was talking about, I believe you have to text it to 21,000. And what else?
Kwanzaa. Text the word Kwanzaa to 21,000. And that information will be, they can actually send their name, or I'm sorry, they can, text the word
Jewelry
for Kwanzaa to 21,000.
Okay.
And then they'll get a reply.
Okay.
And they can put they can put the word jury in there, okay. And then that information will be forwarded to her.
All right. And also for those who may have children or may have some youth who may be going through some troubles, you might want to subscribe to the book All Odds Against Us by Sharice Brannon, and that's spelled B-R-A-H.
No,
N-A.
B-R-A-N as in Nancy.
Oh, yeah.
But actually,
A-N.
sis, can't they reach out to you to purchase the book?
Sure.
Yeah.
My email address is B as in boy, R as in Robert, A as in Apple, N as in Nancy, H as in Harry, A as in Apple, M as in Mary, SHARESE@gmail.com.
All right. You heard it here first on the All Seeing Eye. And we look forward to seeing you guys all back here on February the 8th. We're going to have a powerful show showcasing a lot of the visionaries in the More Science Temple of America. You definitely want to tune into that one so you can get a better idea to the direction and what's actually being done all over the United States as it relates to the monumental task of uplifting fallen humanity. I say peace to everybody. Love you and thank you